Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. And welcome to the next installment of Meet the Leaders, presented by the Greater Phoenix Urban League and the Greater Phoenix Urban League Young Professionals. Today, we have a very special program today, with October 5th being the deadline for early voter registration. So we wanted to take the opportunity and share this very valuable, very pertinent information for an upcoming election that you have just about 7 hours to register for. In just a few moments, we'll have someone from the Maricopa County Recorder representing the Maricopa County Recorder to tell us about early voting, the registration process, the mail-in ballots, and everything covering voter registration. So we'll be getting started in just a few moments. And thank you all for participating today. As you know the drill, this is the fourth or fifth time that you've been with us already. Like, comment, share. Let the world know that you are with the Greater Phoenix Urban League tonight, discussing this very important information. We have a great panel in front of you. We have Kenosha Skinner, the Community Relations Director for the Maricopa County Recorder. We have the President of the Greater Phoenix Urban League Young Professionals, Mr. Ashley Atkins. We have the Civic Engagement Chair and VP of Base Arizona, Mr. Demarco Koch, and a special guest, the President of the Tucson Urban League Young Professionals, President Ashley Koch. And of course, we have the President of the Greater Phoenix Urban League, Mr. George Dean. And again, as I mentioned, we'll be talking about voter registration. Today's the deadline. We'll learn about how you can still spend these next 7 hours of your time to register to vote, to make sure that you're eligible to cast your ballot for this upcoming election. We'll also talk about early voting, mail-in voting, and everything of the like. So please stay with us, like, comment, share. If you haven't already, make sure you go to the Greater Phoenix Urban League Facebook page, like that group. Go to Urban League Young Professionals, like that group, and comment, share, invite, let the world know that you're with us. And we'll be getting started. And I'd like to introduce the President and CEO of the Greater Phoenix Urban League, Mr. George Dean. Take it away, George.
Good evening. I'm George Dean, President and CEO of the Greater Phoenix Urban League. For 75 years, the Greater Phoenix Urban League has been providing human services to individuals and families in the Valley of the Sun. Services such as housing, employment assistance, early childhood development, education, health awareness, and so forth. We are in extreme crisis, greater than at any time in the 21st century. Racial injustice, economic inequality, and the pandemic is just a part of the crisis. The coronavirus has unmasked many factors, many problems, many issues, many disparities the people ignored, chose to ignore, or chose to be indifferent about. Black and brown Americans have suffered financial inequality for decades, and the inequality is worsening. Black Lives Matter, whether in an instant during confrontation with police, are not the only Black lives that are senselessly lost. We lose lives to mass incarceration, to inherent bias among medical providers, to a lack of health insurance, to underfunded and public schools. America needs to confront and repair the structural inequalities in our economic and criminal justice systems. And each of us as individuals can play a part in repairing the inequalities by voting. This year's election date is Tuesday, November 3rd. Tonight, as Jerry said earlier, is the last day to register. And you can do it online. Don't forget that. And early voting begins Wednesday, October 7th. The guest we have this evening, Ms. Kenosha Skinner, Community Relations Director for Maricopa County Recorder, Office of Adrian Fontes, Ms. Ashley Atkins, the Greater Phoenix Urban League Young Professionals President, Demarco Koch, Vice President of Base Arizona, and Ms. Kenosha Skinner, and Ms. Kenosha Koch, I should say, Tucson Urban League Young Professionals president. They will give you more information and let you know how important your vote is. Every single vote matters, and we must vote. So pay close attention to the information that these panelists are going to provide you with this evening. And let's get it on, Jerry.
Thank you, President Dean, for those words. And thank you once again, as always, for your leadership of the Greater Phoenix Urban League. Tonight, as I mentioned, we have a very special program today. We're talking about early voting, voter registration, mail-in voting, and in-person voting. It goes without saying, we are in unprecedented times. We have an election coming up that is going to guide the future of our country. And I wanted to be absolutely certain that we got our young professionals involved in today's program, because ultimately you are voting for your future. Many of us in the older demographic have, we've seen quite a bit in our lifetime, but it's absolutely important. And we implore you, young professionals, young adults, get out there, get active, and let your voice be heard. This is, I can't state this enough how important this is. And it's not just voting for the president. There are multiple offices that are up on the ballot, and we'll talk to the Maricopa County Recorder, or the Office of the Maricopa County Recorder today, to learn all about the items that are on the ballot. I know initially we had scheduled and announced that the Maricopa County Recorder himself, Adrian Fontes, will be on tonight's program. Unfortunately, he is not available. As you can imagine, it is the deadline to register to vote, and there's a lot going on in our office today. So we definitely understand and respect the needs that the county is calling for. So we do have a replacement of more than qualified, notable, well-recognized member of the Maricopa County Recorder. It's Kenosha Skinner, who is the Community Relations Director. And without any further ado, I would like to bring Kenosha Skinner onto today's program. Hello, Kenosha, how you doing? We still have you on mute, Kenosha.
All right, hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. So thank you for joining us, particularly on such short notice. We really appreciate you making the time for us. It's vital that this information gets out to the community today. So, again, I can't thank you enough for your participation. Feel free to get settled, take your time.
Thank you.
I guess if we can, if you take a moment to introduce yourself, as well as what it is that the Maricopa County Recorder does.
Absolutely. So my name is Kenosha Skinner. I am the Community Relations Director here for Maricopa County Recorder Adrian Fontes. I've been a part of this team since his election, and we all took office in 2017. So I've been here. We've been meeting a lot with our communities, especially our underserved communities, talking about elections and encouraging engagement in our democracy. So as far as the recorder responsibilities, he has several. So of course, he's over all of recording services. So any documents that are recorded with our office, such as real estate deals, property deeds, birth and death certificates that people would like to record, and military service documents. The recorder oversees all of those recorded documents, including he's also the registrar of our voter rolls. So that goes back to the 1800s, where only white men who owned property were able to register to vote. So that has always been in place with the Maricopa County Recorder from way back when. So he's still the registrar of those voter rolls. And then, of course, he oversees the election administration for Maricopa County in partnership with our Board of Supervisors. And by statute, our recorder is actually responsible for early voting, which has about almost 80% of our registered voters in Maricopa County vote early, either with early ballots or vote early in person. And so he oversees our early voting services, and the Board of Supervisors actually oversees the emergency and election day election services. So those are the responsibilities of the county recorder.
Got it. So it sounds virtually as everything voting related, everything connected to our elections, which
Absolutely.
the governance of our city, county, and country, city, county, and state. So as I mentioned earlier in the program, today's October 5th. I know it to be the deadline to register to vote, but it's past 5 o'clock, close the business. For anyone who has not yet registered to vote, what options do they have? Are they still able to register?
Absolutely. They still have time. We still have, for those of you who have an Arizona a state ID, whether it's a driver's license or a state issued ID for the state of Arizona, you can go onto servicearizona.com and register to vote until 11:59 tonight. Also, our downtown warehouse tabulation center, we have a drive-up drop box that we are using for all election documents. So if there's any completed voter registration forms that people would like to drop off, we will have that open and available as well until 11:59 tonight. So even though our offices are closed, and actually our front counters have been closed since the start of COVID, we did want to make sure that we have that option for voters to still be able to drop off voter registration forms with us. So there's a drive up big silver drop box with a sign on the front that says election documents, and they can drop off those completed voter registration forms until 11:59 tonight. So you still have time.
So again, if you can repeat, where is that location? Is it a singular location? Are they multiple?
It is a singular location, and it is downtown, and it's our Maricopa County Tabulation and Election Center located at 510 South 3rd Avenue.
I am taking a moment to put that into the chat.
Okay.
So if you did not catch that, 510 South 3rd Avenue, if you have not yet registered to vote and you are looking to do so in person, that is the address showing on your screen that you can go to. Now,
and if you need a voter registration form, you don't have one, you can download one at register.maricopa.vote. Register.maricopa.vote, and you can download a voter registration form, fill it out, and submit it, drop it off at our Dropbox location.
got it. Now, so that is the Dropbox location. That is the in-person option. What about electronically? What are those options? What directions?
That's the servicearizona.com URL. You can use that to register to vote online. And anyone who registers before 11:59 p.m. tonight will be eligible to vote in the upcoming November general election.
Got it. And that is servicearizona.com, and we'll pull that up in just a moment so we can communicate it with our audience.
Absolutely.
If it sounds like we're beating a drum, we are. This is your last chance.
It's important. Absolutely.
And come tomorrow morning, you don't want to wake up. You know, I would tell you to leave this program and go register right now, but you don't have to. Open up your phone and register on your phone. So you don't have to leave the program. You still can get this vital information. You can still share with your friends, your family, your colleagues. But I guess this leads me to my next question. For those who think they registered, how can they verify whether they registered or not?
Absolutely. So we actually this year, we launched a new campaign called Be Ballot Ready. And that was in January of this year. And if you haven't seen them yet, Fill the Ballot is our mascot for that campaign. And so BeBallotReady.vote is a personalized dashboard for our voters. So if you go to BeBallotReady.vote, it'll ask you for some personal information. And once you are logged in, it will let you know your voter registration status. So you can check what address we currently have on file for you. You can check, you can actually download a digital copy of your voter ID card. You can check the party status that we have you registered under. You can also check to see if you're on the permanent early voting list. If not, it'll give you the opportunity to register and opt in to receive your ballot by mail on that same voter dashboard. It will also let you know what upcoming election that you're eligible for, as well as the status of your ballot. So if you use ballot by mail, then it will let you know if we received that ballot, or if right now it'll let you know that we're currently preparing your ballot. And of course, as everyone knows, ballot drops is this Wednesday, October 2nd. So all of you who have registered to receive a ballot by mail, we will put those ballots in the mail, over 2.5 million by Wednesday.
All right, so coming Wednesday, if you register to vote, today or prior, you will have your ballot ready by this coming Wednesday. Now, you mentioned it earlier. I just want to get a little bit of clarity. If someone has not already requested to vote, to be on the early voter roll, what does that process look like? If they registered tonight, can they request that ballot?
Yes, they can register tonight and request to get that early ballot. As a matter of fact, the deadline to request the early ballot by mail is October 23rd. So that's 11 days prior to Election Day. If you decide, I don't feel comfortable going and voting in person, I'd rather get a ballot by mail, you must make that request before October or on or before October 23rd. That's the last day that we can guarantee that it will get to you in time before the election, as well as if you decide to mail it back. So that's the that time frame that we're leaving. But you can go to request.maricopa.vote, request.maricopa.vote, or if you go to your personalized dashboard at beballotready.vote, you can request to receive that early ballot there. So those are the two locations that you can actually go to request your ballot.
Thank you for that. So it's a great opportunity. So one thing that the National Urban League and the Greater Phoenix Urban League has been communicating over the past few weeks and months is encouraging everyone to have a plan when it comes to voting. Like, don't wake up
Absolutely
on election day and then decide, oh, I forgot it's election day, let me go vote. Figure this out well in advance. Know if you're going to vote in person. Know if you're going to use the early mail-in ballots. Know if you're going to do early voting. So think about that, figure it out. And the great thing about this is if your plans change and you decide you were initially planning to vote in person, and then you were later coming to decide that you actually want to vote early, you have until October
23rd.
5
p.m.
I'm sorry?
5 p.m. October 23rd.
5 p.m. October 23rd. That is useful information as well, because typically, I know, at least I do, I just think about midnight when close, that's the closest for me in my mind. But October 23rd, 5 p.m., if you change your mind or if you just have not taken the initiative to get on the early voter roll, you have until October 23rd. So now let's talk about the folks that are planning and expecting and will ultimately vote in person. Talk to us about that process. Where do they go? What do they need to have with them? Kind of give us the whole lay.
All right. So for those who do plan to vote in person, the first thing you want to make sure is that you have your ID correct, because in-person voting requires ID, whether it's early voting or election day voting, you must provide ID. Everyone may have known up to last year, you could vote in person without ID, and you'd be having to sign the affidavit where we would check your signature. But there was a state law passed where early voting also requires ID now. So make sure that if you do not have a matching ID, or if your driver's license have a different address than where you're registered, that you bring in that second piece of identification to prove your address. So you'll need to prove your identity as well as your address when you're voting in person. As far as where you can vote in person, we have vote centers. Previous elections, we have a combination of vote centers and polling locations. Well, for this election, because of COVID, we did get special permission to make it an all vote center election, so you can vote at any vote center. And we will have, I believe, 175 vote centers on election day. This Wednesday, we will have 7 vote centers open, and then we will slowly open and increase that number as into different as we go across different phases. And each phase will have different an increase of vote centers that'll be open and available to our voters. So for a vote center, just a quick explanation of what that is. If you live in Chandler and say you work downtown, and it's more convenient for you to vote downtown than it is in Chandler, then you could go into a vote center in the downtown area, check in. Once we confirm your identity and your address, the ballot for your Chandler address will print on the spot at the downtown vote center. So you'll still be able to vote for your local candidates at any vote center that you attend. So we do have the vote center option. If you do get your ballot by mail, Of course, that's not the only way that you can send it back to us. Of course, you have the option of mailing it back, but you can also drop it off at any one of our vote centers or any one of the Dropbox locations that we have available. And this year or this election, we have also added a Dropbox option. So it's a contactless drive up Dropbox where we'll have election staff available. But as you drive up, they'll take that ballot, put it in that secure Dropbox for you, and you can just drive off and have the rest of your day. So those are your options with voting in person and voting by mail. Let me know if I left out anything or if you have any additional questions on that.
So if you left out anything, I promise you I'm asking the question at least 3 times before I let you. So don't worry about it. But
That's
to be
fine with me.
I'm sorry?
I said, that's fine with me.
Yeah, we got to get
It's
it.
important. It's way too important.
Yeah, we got to get it done. So to be clear, if you receive your ballot in the mail, you can drop that off at any vote center around the county.
Absolutely.
If you have not received your ballot in the mail, you can show up to any polling location and they can reprint your ballot.
Yes. So if you say you do get a ballot in the mail and you decide you want to vote in person instead, that's all right as well. As soon as you check in, that system is updated immediately or on time as soon as changes are made. So that system will let you know, hey, we sent you a ballot in the mail. Do you want to spoil that one and print a new one? And as soon as you click yes, then that's what will happen. It'll cancel out that first one that we mailed to you, and you'll have the opportunity to vote in person. Same thing if you just want to vote in person. You just check in, provide that identification that's required, and you'll have your ballot printed on the spot. We have what's called ballot on demand printers, and they're able to print those ballots from any location or jurisdiction across the county. Oops, sorry, work phone.
No worries. We understand today.
Could I just put you on a quick hold? This is a very busy day. I just need to catch this call.
Sure.
Sorry.
We'll go ahead and put myself on the broadcast. So this is the product when you go live with events and things like this happen, and we understand we definitely understand the importance of this. So we are greatly appreciative that they were able to give us any of their time today. With today being the deadline, the sort of demands and emergencies that come about, you just gotta roll the punches and pivot. But to be clear, just to reiterate, if you get a mail-in ballot, you can drop that off at any polling location.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you. I'm sorry.
No worries at all. I was just reminding them that if they print up their ballot, they can drop it off at any polling location. And if they can go to any poll location and reprint their ballot, it will cancel the old one and print out a new one.
Unless we have received it already. So if you've mailed it back and our office has received it, then it will let you know that we've already received your early ballot. But by law, we cannot turn anyone away. And if someone would still like to vote, then it will be provisional ballot. Once it's researched on our end and we found that we have already received that ballot, it will not count. So just want to make that caveat.
So that's great timing, actually, because I was going to ask you one follow-up question. And actually, let me pause for a moment. If anyone's in the audience, if you have any questions for Kenosha, I mean, please correct me if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Yes, Kenosha is correct. Yes.
If you have any questions for Kenosha or any of our panelists that will be with us a little later in the program, feel free to drop it in the comments. We will make every effort to get your question answered. So yeah, just again, be obliged, drop it in the comments, and we'll look to get as much of you involved in this conversation as possible. But back to Kenosha, you mentioned the provisional ballot, and you at least mentioned it a bit earlier of what someone needed to bring with them to vote. If they do not have the required information, what does the process look like? How can we ensure that they have the opportunity to exercise their right?
All right. So according to federal law, we cannot turn anyone away. So if anyone arrives and wants a ballot and they do not have proper identification, they will be provided a provisional ballot where they can vote the ballot But if they do not have proper ID, it will be identified as a conditional provisional, which means that for federal elections, they have 5 days after the election to provide that required identification to prove who they are before their ballot is counted. So yes, if they come with the improper ID or no ID, they will have 5 days after the election to prove their identity in order for that conditional provisional ballot to become a counted vote for that voter.
Awesome. So, I mean, we recognize it's an imperfect system, it's an imperfect process, but it sounds to be there are options to ensure that your vote gets counted. Because I know that's just one of the things that discourages some people from participating in the process, is thinking that they to have to jump through hurdles and whatnot to vote. Which I'm not saying that that sort of hurdles do not exist, but there are items in place to kind of ensure that you do have the opportunity to exercise your right.
Absolutely.
So again, going back to something that you mentioned earlier about you have to follow or submit a provisional ballot if your vote has already been counted. If you submitted it earlier, they received it. How can someone verify that their vote was indeed received and counted by the election board?
This is actually one of my favorite questions. Because when the recorder took office in 2017, we did start a new text messaging service for those voters who would like to have their ballot tracked. And this is an opt-in service where where we have a text messenger service where we will let you know when we've received your ballot. So we'll actually let you know when we're getting ready to mail it to you, when we have mailed it to you, and as well as when we received it back from you. And we'll also let you know whether or not your signature has been verified or if there's any issues with your signature and we need to contact you. So that text messaging service we've been using since 2017. A lot of voters love it. They don't have to do anything once they opt in. We take over from there and just let them know the status of their ballot. So for those of you who are here listening, if you have a pen and paper, you can text the word JOIN, JOIN, to the number 628-683. It'll ask you for personal information to get you opted into that service. And then you'll start receiving text messages from us from there. We don't spam your phone with a lot of messages. Only during election time. Like I said, we'll let you know when we're preparing your ballot, when we've mailed it to you, when we received it back, when it's been signature verified and sent off to be counted, or if there's any issues with that ballot. You can also check your ballot status at your personal voter dashboard at beballotready.vote, or you can go to ballotstatus.maricopa.vote to check your ballot status.
Awesome information. And I just wanted to kind of just come back to you to ask you to repeat that phone number.
Absolutely. So text the word JOIN to 682-683.
683.
Did I say the right thing? 628-683. I'm sorry. 628-683. I was a little dyslexic for a minute there.
One last time. And it goes out to the world. 628-683. There we go. And the magic of the internet is underway. So there you go. That's the number you want to text to get on the text notification process to keep track of your ballot. Am I saying it right?
Yeah. So ballot. Track your ballot status.
Track your ballot status. Awesome. So to segue a bit or kind of look at the bigger picture, I know most folks are talking about the presidential election, and it's getting majority of the attention as it should. But we all know that that's not the only thing that we will be voting on, and quite frankly, it's not the seat or the kind of issues that are most immediately impacting the lives of anyone living in Arizona. So if we can kind of how can we find out what is on our ballot? Like how do I know what I'm voting for?
All right. So you can actually, and this is going back to the same personalized voter dashboard, beballotready.vote, and you can actually see a sample of your ballot. It's available right now. It is, let me just double check and see what the thing is that you click on. I think it's what's on my ballot. And once you click on there, it'll come up with a sample of your ballot that you'll be getting in the mail or if you vote in person. And why is my computer not working? You got it, Kara? Okay.
No, don't worry. Like again,
All
this
right.
is magic of live television. We're gonna get it right.
Yeah. Yes. So now I had the actual dashboard up so I could know for sure. But it says what's on my ballot. As soon as you click that, once you're in that your dashboard, it'll pull up your sample ballot with all of those candidates and propositions and judges. Remember, we're voting for judges again on this ballot that are available for you to vote. Remember, all voting is local. So those local candidates, those school board representatives, the sheriff, Maricopa County Sheriff is up for election again. Of course, our Maricopa County Attorney is up. So there's a lot of other important candidates also on that ballot for you to vote for.
So I actually printed up my ballot last night just to, kind of, I shouldn't be hosting the program if I didn't do my homework, right?
Right.
Just to reiterate, we got the presidential election, we got the senatorial election, we have judges on the ballot, we have the county sheriff on the ballot, we have the county attorney on the ballot, county supervisor on the ballot. Am I missing anything?
All of the supervisors are actually up for election. Let me check my ballot. That's if you live in Phoenix, the mayor is up for election. That seat is up.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a lot. And then a couple of bonds, some school board members, and bond and overrides for a couple of schools.
So it's a lot of seats, and I know personally I want to at least Google the name of every judge on my ballot. Like if there is a scorecard out there to kind of assess their their productivity, I want to find it. I want to know what it is. I want to be as informed as possible. Again, the presidential election, it gets all the attention every 4 years, but that isn't everything. That's not the whole picture.
Absolutely.
And I
just want to remind everyone that our office do not send out information about candidates. We strictly administer our elections, so we do not provide any information about candidates in order to not mess with the integrity of elections. Pretty much we stay as far away from anything dealing with candidates. But our partner, we have a great partnership with Clean Elections, the Clean Elections Commission, and they actually provide on their website a lot of background and information for those statewide candidates. They don't do local candidates, but they do have information on those statewide candidates on their website that is really important and helpful when researching those positions.
Got it. So I was going to just reiterate that I printed up my ballot and it was long. And there are, and forgive me, and hopefully I'm not taking you by surprise with any of this, but there are two propositions on the ballot, Prop 207 and Prop 208. Are you able to just kind of tell us what that is?
I cannot actually. Again, we just administer elections, and we do not get involved with candidates or the propositions. We only put them on the ballot when we create those ballots.
My apologies. I do not want to kind of violate any of the ethics that your department abides by. Like I said, forgive me if I caught you off guard with that, but thank you for that. Perfect.
No, that's okay. I don't have a problem saying no.
So I'm saying there's Prop 207 and Prop 208. Check them out, see what they're about. Again, print your ballot, study it, spend some time with it. You got about 30 days, but don't don't stuff it underneath the magazines that came in the mail. Take a look at it, paste it right next to your laptop or your computer. Spend some time with it, understand what is on your ballot. And again, maybe if you stuff it underneath your magazines, you can always go to a polling location and reprint your ballot. So
absolutely.
One other thing, this goes back to what I was mentioning about having a plan, right? What tools, resources, material can someone walk into a polling place with? Can I print my ballot and fill it out and use it as a cheat sheet, so to speak? Actually, let's not use that word. Can I use it as a resource guide to make sure that my selections are properly identified?
Actually, we're not supposed to allow you to bring. We're supposed to spoil that ballot as soon as it walks through the door. If you get another one, And if you bring in that ballot, you're encouraged to turn it over and spoil it in order to get that new ballot. Because we don't want someone having 2 live ballots within our voting locations and being mistakenly submitting both. So we do ask that once you walk in that you do turn over that ballot from home in order to get that new one, or put that one from home in your affidavit, that green envelope, and submit it in that drop box.
Got it. So what if it's not a ballot, it's just a piece of paper with the names of the people that I want to vote for? Am I
That
able
is okay.
Okay.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, you'll probably have people electioneering outside of that 75-foot line, and they'll be giving out the literature for their candidate that they're advocating for. Voters can bring that in with them, but we do ask that they take it out with them. If they do leave it in those polling booths, our poll workers are trained to walk around and make sure they're collecting and tossing that in the trash if any candidate or electioneering information is left in the voting booths.
Got it. So again, anyone out in the audience, if you have a question, drop it in the comments. We want to make sure that your questions are answered. We only have just a few more moments with Kenosha. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. We're going to wrap up in just a bit. So I'm going to take my panelists by surprise as well. When our panel have any questions that we are able to ask Kenosha, just nod your head and let me know if you have any questions. Don't feel pressured.
Yeah.
I just want to give everyone every opportunity to ask these questions. It is of the utmost importance that we spend as much time as we can to address this. So we don't have any comments coming in from the audience. We don't have any comments coming in from our panelists. But nonetheless, hold up. Maybe we got one question. We're going to add.
I'll stick around too, even after. I'll stick around just in case a question floats in.
We'll bring up Ashley Atkins, who is the president of the Greater Phoenix Urban Young Professionals.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Kenosha. I had more of a comment. So first, thank you so much for all of the information that you provided. I just wanted to say I'm a huge advocate of the Be Ballot Ready dashboard and the text service. That is just like a lifesaver for me. I actually, every time I get a text, I take a screenshot and post it because I'm so excited. So this is like a millennial's dream. So if anybody needs to use that service, please do and join, and to also to join that dashboard is a great way to just get quick up-to-date information. And that's all I had to say. It's great.
Thank you for that. See, Ashley said it, so it's true.
So again, we don't have any questions coming in from the audience out in the world. We don't have any questions from the panelists. So we'll, give you some of your time back. I'm sure you work till midnight tonight, right?
Yes. We're ordering pizza. That's all right.
Wait, I'm sorry, I missed that.
I said we're ordering pizza, so we'll be fine.
And is that you dropped earlier? Because I can go for pizza right now. So no, it's been awesome information. It's been an awesome conversation. Again, we do know that you have a great deal of work ahead of you, not only tonight, but for the next 30 days. We are greatly appreciative of it. 1 second, we got a last minute question coming in. So if we want to contact someone to make our wishes on making some of the more flexible voting policies permanent, who do we reach out to? Our supervisor or the recorder? No,
this is another very important position. Your local legislators, remember, they make the laws, the state statutes. So if there's any particular laws that you want on the books, contact your legislator. There's only so much that we really have that option of doing, but depending on what policy you're referring to, most likely it will be with your legislators to put it on the in the Arizona election statutes.
Great. We have another question that came in from Sally. Firstly, thank you, Caitlin, for that question. We appreciate it. And Sally, thank you for your question. Does Arizona ever clean the registered voters list?
Yes, we do. We're doing that on a constant basis. We are actually a part of ERIC, which is a system where we talk with the other states. We talk with the different agencies like Vital Records and Statistics to make sure that, you know, anyone who's passed away, anybody who's moved out of state and registered in another state, that we're talking with each other and on a consistent basis, cleaning up our voter rolls. So absolutely. And that's just a snippet of how we're doing that.
We have another question from J.M. Morrison. Is this only for your county or can it be extending to surrounding counties? So is this Maricopa County, this information valid for? And what if someone lives in neighboring counties?
Most of the information I shared tonight is for kind of bleeds into other counties, but except our text messaging system, that's just Maricopa County, and some other select information. But most of the voter registration, as far as our office and the Dropbox being open until 11:59, that's just Maricopa County. But as far as today being the registration deadline, the ballots drop in on Wednesday, the last day to request that early ballot, that information is statewide.
Awesome. So I'm going to hold you for one more question until we transition to the panelists. But I can tell you this is a great question because this is one that I was thinking of asking you all after, you know, I kind of curated it. But this question comes from Chanel Brown, who is our advocacy chair for the National Urban League Young Professionals. So thank you for joining us, Chanel. How do people sign up to be poll workers? And I would like to add on to that, what is the job of a poll worker?
The job, we have different positions of poll workers. We have the inspector, who is the head or in charge of that specific vote center. We have the marshal, who maintains the lines and double checks and makes sure that at the end of the day, of the night, once polls close, he's the one that stands in line at 6:59, not allowing any more voters in line after 7 p.m. Then we also have our voter registration clerk. So a lot of people don't know, but the system, our check-in system, we created within our own offices here in Maricopa County. So we actually have the opportunity for voters who need to update their address. They can do it on the spot at the vote centers. So we have the voter registration clerks who are able to assist those voters with that process. We also have the ballot clerk. So the clerks who maintains those ballots that are being printed from that ballot on demand printer, that it gets to the right voter and actually pair it with the correct affidavit with that voter. So we have different roles of poll workers at our vote centers. The best way to register right now, we only had room for about, I want to say 2,000 poll workers. We were inundated with requests for people to work. We had over 16,000 people who actually signed up to be poll workers. So everybody, of course, will not be able to be poll workers. But we do have other positions. At our warehouse, we have people already working there now, receiving those early ballots from our UOCAVA voters. Those are our uniformed citizens and overseas citizens who still have Maricopa County addresses but are living overseas. By law, we have to send those ballots out 45 days prior to an election, and we've already been receiving those back. So we have people here already processing those ballots. We have special election boards for people who can't get out from home or they're in the hospital and need help in person completing their ballot. So that's boards of 2 people of different parties that actually goes out to those voters to help them complete their ballots. We have warehouse workers, drivers who drive equipment to the different vote centers, helping us get those set up. So there's a variety of positions that are available, paid positions that are available to work through the election. And you can go to getinvolved.vote and sign up, let us know your availability. And we do have recruiters on staff that are contacting people who have completed those that online form to offer them other positions that we currently have open. So we have a variety of positions besides being a poll worker to get involved with this election.
Got it. So that is getinvolved.vote if you want to apply to become a poll worker. And there's a variety of positions. You can learn about all of those on their website.
Yes.
So I know I told you that was the last question.
And I'm sorry, it's getinvolved.maricopa.vote. Sorry.
Get involved. Maricopa.vote.
Correct.
I'll update that, and trust all the links, all the information that we shared today. We will post it on our Facebook and Instagram pages. We'll communicate it in the email distribution list. So yeah, get involved. .maricopa.vote if you're interested in becoming a poll worker.
Absolutely.
Yes, I know I said that was the last question. Let me get one more.
Okay.
For those who vote early or mail-in votes, when are those ballots actually being counted, and how and when are they being reported?
Great question. So actually, the legislator just changed in the last legislation the time that we have to start processing those early ballots that we get in. Previously, it was 7 days prior to Election Day, but now it is 14 days prior to Election Day, where we're able to start actually opening those early ballot envelopes and processing those ballots. So there's 3 different numbers or reportings that we have. So on election night at 8 p.m., those early results that we're reporting are from those early ballots. So the earlier you send your ballot, you're in that first pool of election results at 8 p.m. Later on in that evening, you'll start seeing a larger and more numbers being reported. As each vote center closes down, we get those numbers from those people who voted in person with the on-site tabulators. So those numbers come trickling in throughout the remainder of the night. And for the remainder of the week, we have those late early. So the people who waited until Election Day to come in and drop off those early ballots. We have those people who have 5 days with those conditional provisionals to provide that identification, or anyone where we've had difficulty with verifying those signatures. Those are the last pool of voters or numbers that are trickling in each day when we update those numbers. Those, we're tabulating those late earlies, those people who are, again, bringing in those the ID for those conditional provisional, and those voters who we've had issues with their signature where they were able to cure those. Those are those final numbers that are trickling in until we get the full and complete number from every registered voter.
Thank you so much, Kenosha, for all of this information. You've been a great resource, a great asset to us tonight, and I hope the audience is just as appreciative of this information. In fact, I'm certain they are appreciative of your time and this information that you was able to share. So I know you offered to stick around until the program finally concludes, but if someone has to, question comes to mind after, we drop off, how can they get a hold of you? How can they get answers to some of the questions they may have?
If for emergency response, I would give our voter info email, voterinfo at risk.maricopa.gov, and we have plenty of people on staff that are answering those questions. If it's a question where you would like myself or the recorder to come to speak at any other meetings, you can email me directly. I'll make sure if it's for the recorder, I'll make sure Kara gets that. But my email is kskinner, KSKINNER, at risk.maricopa.gov.
Got it. So yes, as I've been doing in the broadcast, I want to make sure that we get that listed into the comments so that, this video lasts forever. So, Tuesday, come back and research this. When you share with your friends, because there's such phenomenal information, we definitely encourage you to do so. So, Kenosha, again, I can't thank you enough for your time. We shared the information. If there's anything else that, we want to bring you back on after, towards the end of the program, we can do that. Even now, if you want to pop in, just wave. When I got the panelists on, I'll be happy to bring you back into the program.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you guys for having me. Urban League does a great job. We love you guys, especially our young professionals as well. So thanks for all that you do, and we're always here for you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kenosha.
No Yep.
So one thing I wanted to mention is one of the questions that we had prior about the different counties. If you are observing this program across the country, you can text the word VOTE to 69866, as you see on the bottom of the screen, or visit reclaimyourvote.org, and you can find answers to much of the information that we provided today for your particular county, city, or state if you're not a resident of Arizona or Maricopa County. So if you're watching this nationally, it's watermarked in the bottom of it. Text VOTE to 69866. And this is the initiative of the National Urban League and the National Urban League Young Professionals. So not only the Greater Phoenix affiliate or the Greater Phoenix Urban League Young Professionals chapter, but affiliates and chapters across the country have been taking up this initiative to make sure that your vote is counted. Now, I would like to segue to the moment that we've all been waiting for, and that's talking to our young professionals throughout the Valley as well as Tucson. So first, I would like to introduce the greatest vice president to ever grace the Greater Phoenix stage, Ms. Ashley Atkins. Welcome, Ashley.
Hello, thank you.
And forgive me, let me correct myself. I addressed you as the greatest vice president because you were my vice president.
I heard that.
Please correct the record and tell the audience, introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes. Well, as Jerry mentioned, my name is Ashley Atkins, and I'm the president of Greater Phoenix Urban League Young Professionals. And I am very excited to be here and for us all to just give some information in regards to just getting out to vote and the importance behind it. So thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Next, I would like to bring on to the program Mr. Demarco Koch, who is the vice president of Base Arizona. In addition, he serves as the civic engagement chair of the Greater Phoenix Urban League Young Professionals. Welcome, Demarco.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Again, Demarco Koch, Vice President of Base Arizona and Civic Engagement Chair for the Greater Phoenix Urban League Young Professionals. I have a lot of time on my hands, apparently. So it's very important that the young professionals are present here in the Valley in our community as advocates, as those persons involved in civic engagement. I actually took a training from Ms. Kenosha. So it's our jobs to go out and get the education we need from the resources that we know and then spread the word to our community. So thank you for having me.
Our pleasure, and thank you for joining. And yes, those two titles sound like it is a lot of work, and we're grateful that you just have to have the time to give it to your community. We appreciate it. Lastly, I would like to bring on the president of the Tucson Urban League Young Professionals, Mrs. Ashley Koch. Now, before I do, remember I mentioned earlier, we got 90 affiliates across the country. We got 60 YP chapters across the country, and we are intent on connecting with each of those throughout the United States, but particularly those in our backyard. So, President Ashley Koch, welcome to the program.
Hi, everyone. I'm really glad to be here to shed light on such an important topic. Thank you for having me. As Jerry said, I'm Ashley. I'm from Tucson, and I am the current president for Tucson Urban League Young Professionals here.
Welcome, Ashley. So, I mentioned earlier in the program, and we brought our young professionals, we gave them the stage. We want you to share all the information that you've been involved with. It's definitely important that your demographic, your age, gets out into the community and exercises their right to vote. This is our country, right? Like we're of the age that we're active in the community. We're all involved in the urban league to some degree in different capacities. So definitely appreciative of each of you for putting your time, energy, and effort to the community. But now we got to make it our mission to make sure that our peers, if they don't get as actively engaged with these organizations, they at least exercise their right to vote. So that's why we brought you on. So we'll start with Ashley. If you can, just tell us a little bit about what your organization, tell us about what the organization does that you lead, and what have you been doing for the past couple of months? Tell us a little bit about your program.
I'm gonna say which Ashley.
Right.
Ashley,
no problem. We get confused all the time. No worries. But yeah, why are at least Phoenix YP? We have been very, very involved with kind of virtual events and then in-person events when it's safe. Just getting the word out as we are in this election season. We have been just getting the word out through our social media, educating, holding pop-up voter registrations. We recently had one with Demarco as the lead in partnership with the Phoenix Alphas at the Blackface Arizona I think it's a food truck. Sorry, trying to get the words out for that. So we're constantly involved. We're also pushing our nationals initiatives. We were very highly involved with the National Black Voter Day and National Black Voter Week. And then, as you mentioned, Jerry, we are pushing the reclaimyourvote.org. So yes, please visit there for your local information on voting. And then we also have a virtual phone drive going through as well. So just to get involved in that aspect, if you're looking for things to volunteer for.
Got it. Now I want to go over to Demarco. So you, in addition to your involvement with Urban Young Professionals, you are the Vice President of Base Arizona. Tell us a little bit about that organization.
Yeah, so Base Arizona is a nonprofit organization, and just in its infancy stage, starting out June of 2020. And you know, we in this today's climate, we saw a need to bring together the Black community for various reasons. And so we've been absolutely excited about what's going on. We're focusing in Black economics. So, you know, as Ashley mentioned, we've had a couple of food truck events where we have hosted Black businesses, Black food trucks and vendors to come out. And that event absolutely, it grew is quicker than we thought it would be. But, you know, in having events such as those, we also take the opportunity to allow people to register to vote, allow people to complete the census. And again, having the young professionals present and creating these alliances as we did during that event with Urban League Base and our local Alpha chapter, what it shows collaboration here in the community. And, you know, as advocates, it's important, again, for us to go out and learn as much as we can that we're able to then teach, you know, those other young professionals that may not have the opportunity to, you know, be a part of, you know, learning sessions or things of that nature. And so, you know, as far as Base Arizona, again, we're here to help support small businesses, whether that's, you know, small entrepreneurial startup businesses, you know, share information about what's available as far as financial resources in your communities. And then help promoting those businesses. So again, bringing our organizations together, bringing our Black businesses together and giving them a safe space to do business. And then our community as a whole coming out to support those businesses has been absolutely great. We will have another food truck event at the end of this month on the 30th, which will be held in Chandler at Founding Fathers starting at 5:30. And there again, we will be advocating. We will also have a booth set up discussing voting, making sure ballots are turned in, and also allowing people to complete the census. So as we know, the census was extended until the 31st of this month. So the 30th being the last day, we'll get as many people as we can to come over to the table, and we'll have it all digitally set up, and you can do it right there online.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll come back to the census conversation in a moment, because that is, again, another vital piece of information that is needed to ensure that you are receiving the resources in your community. But before we do that, I want to transition over to, so I think I'm just to go with last names now, right? If everyone's okay with that. President Koch, if you can tell us a little bit about the organization that you lead and the efforts that you have been participating in over the past few months.
Definitely. Over here in Tucson, we're an emerging group and we're still growing and building. But we have really been trying to focus on that civic engagement piece and getting out the word about voting, the census as well. We've done a lot of different virtual events to kind of focus on those two things. We are embedding something in each one of our events, whether it's a text bank and our game night. Last week, we had a general body meeting where we discussed a financial topic, but we also made sure to discuss how to manage absentee ballots. We are really trying to hit social media hard on our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are working on partnering with the University of Arizona with African American Student Affairs to help reach that younger audience and those who are recently transitioned to that 18-year-old age range and are now voting. Yeah, really, we're just working on continuously being able to get that word out through our virtual events and things like that.
Awesome. So I do want to spend some time to talk about the census. And again, we're all young professionals here. Some of us a little bit more comfortably than others. But if we can speak to our demographic and tell us why it's important to make sure they fill out their ballot. And before I get into that, I would just I spoke to representatives at the census earlier today, and there are 2 zip codes that are being severely underreported, and that is 85040 and 85041. And this is speaking to the greater Phoenix area, but that is virtually all of South Phoenix. That is from below the 17 to South Mountain. So those neighborhoods in that area, according to census records, those are being severely underreported. So if you live in either of those 2 zip codes, if you have family in either of those zip codes, if you just drive through any of those zip codes, make sure you communicate with those and that anyone who lives there to make sure they fill out the census. And we'll let one of our young professionals tell you why it's so important for you to do so. Anyone want to take a stab at this? We go to President Atkins.
All right. And as everyone mentioned, that the census has been extended to the end of this month. So that's pretty much given us another chance to be counted. As you know as well, that this doesn't come around for another 10 years. So it only takes 5 minutes of your time. So why not do it? If you've already done it, to please get your friends and your families to take it. We don't want to have any money left on the table. And this is money that could be impacting our community in a huge way. And this is our only chance unless we wait another 10 years from now. So this is very important. I know YP, we have been promoting it since it even came out. We've had events back in February where we had Ms. Janelle Wood come to speak to our members in preparation for the census and information and to squash, just rumors that are out there. And since then, we've been continuing to educate our community through social media, through our general body meetings, and as Ashley was saying, anywhere we can in our events. And then also just numerous partnerships such as State of Black of Arizona. So we're going to continue to spread the word until the end of this month. And you may be annoyed with us, but we're going to make sure you do it.
Some things are worth being annoying or being as annoying, and this is one of them. So we got couple of just about a month until election day, and then we have just the work continues. So I'm going to ask each of you to tell me a bit about some of the initiatives, the programs that you'll be working on. And first, we'll just talk about over the next 30 days. If you have any programs, events coming up, please, let's communicate it with the audience. And we'll start with President Koch or Demarco, and we'll come back to Ashley. I know we'll come back to President Atkins. I know you got some great events coming up.
I'll let the president speak first. So go ahead, Mr.
Thank you. Yes. Tucson Urban League Young Professionals, like I said, we definitely are targeting the census and the elections. We're working to create a social media series with Reclaim My Vote with African American Student Affairs with the U of A. That's really what we're targeting with them for now. We are also working on a webinar series. That's a financial series to really target the way that COVID-19 has impacted a lot of people our age who've been let go, who've been going through financial woes, all of those things. We really had success in our last one. And so we find that that's an issue that we want to continue to address with our age group. We are going to be doing video campaigns. We have a community service focused month coming up in December, but Right now, we're really just all about that election. And so everything we're doing right now, we're still in the brainstorming process, but you can definitely look forward to our social media to see a lot of the things that we're putting out with ASA.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we have through Base Arizona, so we have our monthly food truck event that will be on the 30th. So again, we'll be spreading the word about the importance of voting at that particular point in time, and then again that last minute push to get people to participate in the census. Jerry, thank you for that information as far as our South Phoenix community, because our communities have to understand that this is where the grant money comes from for our hospitals, for our streets, and for our schools. And especially that South Phoenix area, that is a very important area for us because that's where we're represented. And that lets us know that, hey, we have, work to do. Outside of that, again, COVID has absolutely changed the way that we operate and move. And me personally, trying to work on my social media sharing skills. My chapter knows my handicap there, but I'm trying. But I am all about getting out in the streets and spreading that word. So there will be a challenge here in the Phoenix community with the Urban League chapter, with Base Arizona, to get out there and spread the word about the census, because we need to be counted, like our lives depend on it, because that is a very important area. So that's what we have going on. We'll continue to learn, create those safe spaces for individuals to come and talk to us. Usually young people connect well with young people. So it's very important for us to be present and give people an opportunity. Just a personal testimony, I now talk about the census and registering to vote in almost every conversation I have. And, just asking someone whether you think they're registered or have completed this or not. And I've been able to, get people registered right there on the spot. So, let's open our mouths. Let's continue to advocate and just be that voice in our community.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
I do it at least once every program, man. Happy I got it out the way so it doesn't happen again. Marco, I was gonna mention that you mentioned young people connect better with young people, and that's just the absolute truth, right? I just remember, being in my, early 20s, and I thought someone 25 years old was old, but it's definitely important that we talk to our peers. Like the census, as President Atkins mentioned, happens once every 10 years, and that data is used to determine all types of stuff, from how many fire departments are in a particular neighborhood, how many firefighters are on call, to, do they pave new roadways? Do they expand the highway? Do they create a new exit off a highway? Like all of those things, you may not think about it, but, they need some information to determine how to spend these dollars. And, this is the data that they use for that. So great information. Now we go to President Atkins to kind of share the programming that the Greater Phoenix Urban League Young Professionals has coming up in the next 30 days or so.
Yeah. So yes, over the course of just the next few months, period, we will definitely be solely focused on getting people out to the vote, to vote early, whether that's, mailing it in or dropping it off in person. Also around any education on the candidates, the systems, and everything. So everything that we need to get information out to the community to be ready for November 3rd, we will be doing. We will also, have some fun with just watching the debates that are happening over the next course of the week, starting this Thursday. I'm sorry, not Thursday, Wednesday, with the VP debate. We will have a West Wind drive-in debate watching party partnered with One Voice and Our Voice Arizona, among many other organizations. So if you are available to come out to watch with us in a safe space in your car, please come out to join us on Wednesday. There's more information on our page at Phoenix ULYP. And then we are also watching having other watch parties with our Western Regional YPs, along with the Tucson YP that will be held virtually. So more information to come on that. And lastly, I believe we are having a brunch and learn event that will have information on our government hierarchy. So more information to come. That will be sometime in October. So we're very busy, and we're going to continue to keep the word out there and get you as much information as possible to get you ready for November 3rd.
I had to bring the screen back up so everyone can see my authentic smile when you said we're very busy, because I just tend to be busy with urban league. So excited to hear it. And I'm really excited. Well, you got a lot of great events coming up. So drive through. Mm-hmm. And what is the location for that?
The location is at the West Wind Drive-In, so it's going to be in the West Valley.
West Wind Drive-In. So just pull up and get your popcorn, get your soda.
We'll have to register on our page, but yeah, for the most part, you can just pull up.
So and we'll want to direct it to Phoenix ULYP on Instagram, Facebook.com for all this information.
Absolutely. That's right.
That sounds like exciting. So I know we spoke about events happening in the short term. I want to reiterate. You said Wednesday you got the drive-through. Mm-hmm. Then you got a brunch and learn about the hierarchy of government. Mm-hmm. So
that is right.
The brunch and learn is a beautiful concept. Pull up with your breakfast, pull up with your brunch beverage of choice, and learn about some great content in the process. So I'm looking forward to that. There's going to be some great information as well. So I know we were talking about events happening in the short term. So you all are leading amazing organizations. As just mentioned, you're definitely busy with a lot of stuff going on. So we spoke about what's happening in the short term. Can you tell us anything about some of the events or the initiatives that you have in the works and that will speak to the long-term efforts of your organization beyond Election Day?
I can start, I guess. As far as Base Arizona is concerned, again, we are all about Black economics and teaching our community, especially our young people. So some things that we're working on, we are working on a youth event in the first quarter of next year, teaching the youth about financial literacy. And we're also looking to offer some grants or give those individuals participating grants that will then be reinvested into their group as far as that showing that group economics, So that's one big initiative that Base Arizona is doing. There again, we are also working on a co-working space as well. So that's allowing young entrepreneurs to come in, have a safe space to work at a lower price than you might go to another co-working space. So that's some things that we have going on as far as Base Arizona, and there will be more to come. So you can reach us at basearizona.org. Again, that is basearizona.org, and you can get on our mailing list, as well as get in contact with us and share your information about your businesses and allow us to promote for you. So that's what we have going on in the coming months.
Awesome, Demarco. President Koch, would you like to share some of the initiatives that you're working on with the Tucson Urban League Young Professionals?
Yes, so, definitely currently that election and census, but further out, we are really focusing on the economic empowerment piece. We're working with our affiliate Urban League on their financial workshops that are going to be weekly. And so we're going to be a big part in helping them and promoting that and also being a part of that. Like I said, we're focusing on a webinar as well ourselves, focused towards our age range and millennials and a lot of the different financial decisions that we're coming to terms with right now. We are going to be focusing still as we get closer to December on community service and transitioning from that webinars come December so that we're working more so in our community. We want to adopt some families. We are Definitely going to be working more with the university more. There is a lot in store, so I would just say to stay tuned.
Awesome. And I send you a message every couple of weeks, like, and commend you on the work that you've been doing down in Tucson. So definitely excited to see initiatives and programs that you have coming up. So we'll transition over to President Atkins. What is the Greater Phoenix UOYP doing beyond election day?
Yes, again, still busy. So it looks like we're all on the same realm of Black economics. So within the month of November, we will be hosting a virtual Urban Expo. So this will be our 4th annual one. So we're learning to pivot and do everything virtual. So we'll have all of our vendors and some special guests there. So please mark your calendar for November 14th, as that is our National Day of Empowerment. In the upcoming months, we've also relaunched our YP Connects program, which is a mentorship type program that we're partnering with ASU students within that are juniors and seniors. So it's a great initiative just to give back and to give back to our young YPers and to, give them the courage, the information as far as just transitioning from college to the working force, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in corporate America. So we are kicking that off within the next couple of months. And then most recently, we are still giving back to the youth. We are partnering with Rumi Center with a Youth Career Expo on October 24th. And this is mainly just having students come out virtually and to listen to professionals, young professionals around the Valley, and to listen to their career paths and how they can get involved. So that will be held on October 24th. And if you have any students that would like to be involved, it is on our social media pages. And if you're a professional that's looking to get involved, we would love to have you as well.
Thank you so much, President Atkins. I'm personally excited for that event. The idea of being the first time that someone meets, or a child meets someone in the profession that they were dreaming about, like, that is going to be life-changing. So if they end up, this might be the opportunity, first time to meet an architect. They might have been playing with Legos their entire life, and this is their chance to actually meet someone who's actually building actual buildings. You can imagine that impact that is going to have on the youth. So definitely looking forward to that event, October 24th. In partnership with the Rumi Center. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So we encourage you all to participate in. The other thing, YP Connects leadership program in conjunction with ASU. It is a pilot program, something that we are hoping to expand statewide and eventually nationwide. We got a great form of content. So if you are an ASU student or an ASU student, just find your way over our social media. You'll find all the information about this YP Connects program. And I believe we're still accepting mentors. So if you are a young professional interested in mentoring a college-age student, you still have an opportunity to sign up for that.
Especially males. Yes.
There is a need for more males to become mentors. Yes, I'm a firm believer that every person needs mentor, a mentee, and I guess a counterpart is probably the word I kept reverting back to. So the great thing about the YP Connects program, you can find all three in this one program. So Ashley Atkins, great content. Ashley Koch, great content. And Demarco as well. So if we have any questions from the audience, drop them in the chat. We have a bit of time, but you got to drop them in the chat quickly. I know we're running up on time, and we do not want to be the broadcast that continually runs over our time. The time is important. But for the driving movie theater, the driving event that Ashley Atkins mentioned earlier, that's coming Wednesday, the VP debate, the link is in the comment section as well as on the screen. So if you want to register for that event, that's the link that you would use to do so. We don't have any questions coming in from the audience, so I'm going to pivot to our panelists. One more. Sally is on point. Sally Stacker.
Yes, Sally.
Sally Stacker, like you're a gem. Sally Stacker is continually dropping the links that we need a part of this program, so we appreciate it. So yeah, we'll close out, and Sally, if there's any more links to drop, please do. Questions, drop them in the chat. But we'll look to close out now. If we can do a quick round robin and tell a little bit about some final thoughts. And we always need help. A volunteer-led organization, a membership-led organization, we need your help. 100% we need your help. If you are inclined to participate, give a couple of hours, give a couple of dollars, whatever the case being, please connect with one of these organizations and show your stuff. Now we'll start with our esteemed guest from Tucson, Ashley Koch, to close out and take it away.
No, I don't have too much more to add. I think all of the things that have been said today are really helpful, really beneficial, really necessary. I can express how important it is to get out there and vote, to do our census. We put out a survey this summer just to tell our age or having regarding voting. What do they need to know? What is the information that they're missing? What is it that you would like to know that you don't know? And so we're putting a lot of stuff together to get that information to you guys through our different social media channels. So please just make sure to follow us. You can follow us on Twitter or on Instagram at Tucson, TUCSON, and then Urban League Young Professionals is ULYP. So Tucson ULYP on Instagram and Twitter, and then it's just Tucson Urban League Young Professionals on Facebook. And we are really going to be putting forth that information to help get you guys in the know and help to just build to kind of those different weaknesses that we have in our age range. And yeah, so looking forward to seeing everybody at the polls.
Thank you, President Koch. And indeed, I just can't reiterate enough the collaborative work that we've had with Phoenix and Tucson. This is a huge stage and everyone has room to get on it. So thank you so much, Koch. I look forward to all the work that you're doing in Tucson and what's to come. We'll now transition to Demarco. Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. Volunteer. Come and help. Very important, like Jerry said, we always need men in the community to help lead that way. So it's very important to my male cohorts to come out, serve, give your time, and be present. It does make a difference. And again, as Ashley said, vote. Drop those ballots off. You don't have to stand in line to do that. Sign up for the census. Make sure you are counted. Make sure you vote. And again, give back to your community, even in a small way or in a monetary way. We'll take it all. Thank you for having me.
You're on mute.
Happened twice.
Twice.
Thank you, Demarco, for your leadership. And again, I also look forward to the work that you're doing in the greater Phoenix area. And President Atkins, closing thoughts?
Yes. So we already know what's at stake with this election and what's the importance behind voting. Even if you don't believe your vote doesn't matter, it does. I know I had read a statistic today from When We All Vote that back in 2016 election, that close to 400,000 people from the ages of 18 to 24 didn't vote. And that very well could have made a difference. So please, please, please do your research and make your voice heard. If you're trying to get involved with anything that YP is doing or just trying to catch up, please follow us at on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn at Phoenix ULYP. And you can find us online at www.phoenixulyp.com. But on our social media, that'll probably be the quickest way to get the most up-to-date information. But we will gladly welcome you as a member to get involved on the civic engagement front or anything, of your liking. We will welcome you with open arms. But thank you so much for having me tonight.
It's been my pleasure, and not that it means anything to you, but I am deeply proud of you, deeply proud of the work that you've been doing and the leadership that you've had with the Greater Phoenix Urban League Young Professionals.
Thank you.
No, thank you again. So thank you to everyone in the audience for your participation today. It's been it's been a flood of information. So please share it, register to vote. Election day is coming up in 30 days. If you've missed anything, rewatch this, scroll through the comments, get all the information that you need. We'll continue to post, we'll continue to distribute it throughout our social media. But to close out tonight's program, we would like to bring back on the president and CEO of the Greater Phoenix Urban League, President George Dean.
Thank you, Jerry. And I just want to give a very special thanks to Kenosha Skinner, the Community Relations Director for the Maricopa County, Ricardo Aaron Fontes, and for the wonderful information that she got. I hope all of those who listened and participated wrote that information down and take it into consideration, because I thought it was some very valuable information. Also, special thanks go to the other panelists. And just as a final reminder that vote, every single vote counts. Every single vote matters. So Black Lives Matter, single vote matter. So let's vote on November 3rd. Let's vote on November 3rd. Good night, and thank you so much for watching.